So, can I ask you, is there a politician you think would make a good state president? I mean, there are obviously many factors that make a good state president, right? Are they decisive? Are they likable? Are they relatable? Are they delivering? Are they empathetic? What else? Are they smart? Do they take their roles seriously? I don't know. Whatever in your view makes a good president. And I'm asking you this because there's a recent survey. It's the Political Leader Popularity Survey, which shows that former President Thabo Mbeki is actually the most well-admired politician in the country. This is a survey that was conducted by the Social Research Foundation. So they're ranking leaders according to scores collected by participants. They've measured the opinions of about 1,500 participants or so. So it's not a big number. But what it does, the survey, is gauge the political appetite for political leaders in the country. So Mbeki is right there on top at around 57%. President Cyril Ramaphosa is at 45%. Jacob Zuma is at 29%. And I think with former presidents, obviously the context is different. Mbeki was president when the economy was arguably booming. Yes, there were scandals during his presidency, but nothing comes close to the scandals during the Zuma presidency, even though there were also some positive moves during the Zuma presidency. The Ramaphosa presidency has also seen a fair share of scandals, but also challenges like the global pandemic. But he, to some people, was a breath of fresh air. What's interesting, though, with this survey is what it says about the DA, right? Apparently, Helen Zille remains the preferred leader compared to John Steenhuisen. She got 27%, while Steenhuisen scored 18%. Julius Malema scored 27%, Mmusi Maimane 21%, Herman Mashava's overall favorability score is at 14%. Remember, this is from the views of around 1,500 people, so it's a small number, but it's a diverse group. It may or may not be highly accurate, but surveys often give you an idea of what people are thinking. And what I'm asking you is what your appetite is for political leaders. Who, to you, ticks the right boxes for a potential good state president? Mmusi Maimane thinks it's him. Listen to what he said recently on the SABC.
From my perspective, there are only 4 people contesting. In my view, either you support the incumbent, President Ramaphosa, as recent polls show that it's either President Ramaphosa, Mmusi Maimane. You can mention the other ones either from is it John and then Julius. But in the main, those are the choices people face. There'll be a lot of organizations that come into elections, right? But what actually needs to happen is that people follow people. They follow leadership that is trusted. They follow leadership that is ethical. They follow leadership that hasn't stolen its money.
So that's what Mmusi Maimane said. He says him or Cyril Ramaphosa. Really, those are the people you as South Africans are thinking about. Really? I mean, I listened to that and I thought, oh, that's so cute. Because honestly, in my view, he doesn't have as big a constituency like Julius or Herman. But he may have the personality and the stature and the determination of a leader. But is that sufficient to take him to the union buildings? So who is it for you? Is it Cyril Ramaphosa? Is it Julius Malema? Is it Mmusi Maimane? Is it Herman Mashaba? Is it John Steenhuisen? Who am I forgetting? And you may not like the person, but you realize that they would make a good statesman. They would make a good president. Whatever the boxes for you must be ticked by the president, potential president of your choice. Who is it and why? 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702, 18 after 9.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Mr. Nob says, Clement, I think Musi will make a good statesman because he does not have a lot of scandals. That's a message there from Mr. Nob. Well, that's because he also hasn't been in government. Huh? He hasn't. So he has not tasted power. Wait until they are commanding trillion rands of a budget. And let's see if they're still going to be the ethical leaders. Because that's the thing about power, hey? It's tricky. It changes people. Yeah? No says, Clem, the politician who can be the best president is Khosi Ramokgopa, the current Minister of Electricity and Finance, or the Republic. What do you mean, or the Republic? Okay. He is the acting finance minister. Yeah, Khosi, I've shared this view before. I think Khosi Ramokgopa he's one of those people who are great administrators. And yeah, we can talk about his tenure there in Tshwane as the mayor and what's transpired. But he's one of those people who I would never make them politicians. I would make them administrators. I thought he's done an incredible job when he was the head of the infrastructure office in the presidency. He was on the ground. Like, he was working hard in mobilizing funds. That's what you need people like Khosi for. Don't make them politicians. I feel like that's going to, like, you're wasting their talent. And the politics are going to somehow, they're going to ruin them, if you get what I mean. It's like, who did we have last week on Hanging Out? Pakstau. Like, Pakstau, those are not the people you want as politicians. These are people that I think are really committed about doing what needs to be done. Yeah? Make them HODs or DGs, or let them be the key accounting officers. And then there are people whom I will not mention who they are okay being politicians. In fact, they're incredible at it. Abdul in Randburg, what do you think?
Hi, how are you?
Sharp, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Sorry, just a quick one. I think for me, it's Julius Malema. I didn't maybe support him in the past, and I thought he might be bordering a bit on the extreme side. But recently, in light of the events in Palestine, Israel, having a leader that is decisive, that chooses a side that we know where he stands on, he's not trying to play both sides of the fence, as well as his talks about reform. And another thing for me is his stance on racism in this country. Without going into detail, I believe I'm a victim of that. And we'd be naive to think that racism is dead in this country. So I think he speaks to a lot of relatable things to me. And I prefer a leader that's decisive, and stands on a particular path.
I think I'll give him that too, Abdul. I agree with you. I think I'll give him that when it comes to Julius, the decisiveness. But here's the thing, though, Abdul. His decisiveness can also change in a day, right? His decision making. So he may take a stance against a particular thing now, and 2 weeks later it changes. And then what do you do as a follower of him?
I suppose you're meaning the Springboks thing.
Not just that. There's many things. His views on Paul Mashatile have changed. His views on the public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, the former public protector, who's now a fighter. There are certain things that the EFF and him as a leader have taken positions on, and they were firm on them, right? And the followers rallied and said, yes. And then they flip, The person they thought was the most incompetent, they flip and say, this is the most amazing public protector we've had. Things like that. Their views on Mzwanele Manyi have changed. Now he's a member of the EFF there in parliament. I'm just saying, I agree he's decisive, but I think another issue there when it comes to decisiveness is you just never know. Is he going to wake up tomorrow and change the view that he had 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Look, I hear you. But I still feel he says, that just to me speaks to his humanity, that one day he can admit that he's wrong, And I think that's something that we need in a leader. I mean, today's leaders don't want to admit that they made a mistake.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Abdul in Randburg, thank you. He says Julius is a decisive leader, and that's the person he thinks would be a good statesman.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm listening to your question about which is your preferred politician. Well, I say none of them. I think the ideal candidate to lead this country out of the mess that is in is the guy that heads up Gift of the Givers. Now, that is the type of person who's got the right heart, who can do the administration, because you cannot separate the administrative functions from being a brilliant leader. And he has got a great track record. I vote for him. I don't know his name, but I think he is amazing.
Clement Manyathela for president. You don't only choose to forget him, but you choose to sideline him. By the sounds of things, it's Gayton McKenzie. Don't forget about that man. That is the ace card for this country, my brother.
Oh, yes. Gayton. Okay. Let's add Gayton on the list, Abel. So, you really think Gayton McKenzie would, is even in the top 5? Yeah, probably. So what are your views? Is it Gayton McKenzie? Is it Julius? Is it John? Is it Musi? Is it Cyril Ramaphosa? Who is it for you? Chucks, you're calling us from Motlakeng. Good morning.
Yes. How are
Hey,
you?
Tada. Gimnat, wena?
Sharp, man. Now I think Julius is the one who can make a good leader. And I've just heard you saying that he's a man of always changing his stance. Now, from my point of view, I think in politics, everything changes every time. Like you might have maybe a perspective of a certain leader, like I read the example, I think at the beginning, Julius had a belief that this leader or this lady, the morals and stance that they are like this, go homojajile before. Then it happens that I might have a negative view about you, then get to learn you, then no, this is not the person I thought he is. Then obviously you'll have to change your stance based on that, no, I misjudged this person. Then in most cases in politics, what I believe is things changes because of you tend to think that you know this person. Like Julius at the beginning, he had a good relationship with Cyril Ramaphosa, thinking that he will deliver according to what he used to say the time when he was campaigning. But at the end of the day, he changes. Let's take an example, what happens to Kenya, about William Ruto. Ruto campaigned saying that he's going to change the situation of the Kenyan people, saying that he's going to implement this thing, one currency and so forth, like what Arab and African leaders want to see Africa doing. But after being in that position, he changed. Then obviously Julius, he cannot speak saying supporting the very same person while no, this guy betrayed everyone. He said this, but he's doing the other.
So for me, Chucks, it's at least be real to me as your follower, right? When you are changing your stance, at least be honest about it. In your view, have you ever had Julius Malema explain to you why he suddenly thinks the public Busisiwe Mkhwebane is competent? Because when Julius Malema made comments, and I've played that clip of his many times on the show, of his views of the public protector, he says incompetent. And this is after the public protector had already entered the office and was already working on reports. So he was judging her based on the work. So if Julius comes back later and says, okay, I've changed my views because I've actually realized that this woman has done well. These are the cases I think she's picked up and she's done well in. At least then I'm like, okay, there's rationale here around the changing of the stance. The problem is, and it's not just Julius, right? There are many other politicians who change their minds for political expediency. And it would be naive of you and I, Chucks, to think these people are doing it because, shame, they really believe, for instance, Busisiwe is the most amazing public protector. It's political expediency. They go with what works for them. And it's not just Julius. There are politicians in the ANC who change their minds as well. And they're not doing it because they honestly believe that this is the person who's now good. But they're doing it because this is a person whom, in their support of them and working with them, they score some political points. So it's all about playing politics.
Yeah, but Clement, one thing now which I can tell you is, like as I said to Julia specific, I've noticed some other things. There are some other clips which you won't hear them on media. But there are other places where Julius go, whereby he sometimes explains why they're changing the stands. Why is he changing the stands? You understand? Then, if let's say we can hear such things on radio or on TV, it does not make that person a bad
Yeah, but they make noise. I get it. When they are criticizing people, they make noise. So why not make noise when you're changing your stance and giving reasons behind that?
Yeah,
I suppose.
but you as media, you need to play those clips. Don't only play the negative or what you portray to be the negative part, but when he changes the stance, you don't play that.
I'm waiting for that. Send it to me, Chuck. Tag me now on Twitter on a clip of him explaining the rationale behind his love now for Julius. Yeah, anyway, please send it to me so I can play it because I've not come across that. But anyway, this is not about Julius and the public protector. It's about the leaders. I was just pointing out. And I've said before, it's not just Julius Malema who does that. Politicians do that. And it would be naive of us to think, they do it because. No, sometimes, most times, political expediency. Tukullo in Centurion, who do you think could be a great one?
Hey, Clement, how are you?
Hey, Tara.
Good, man. I want to give you a top name, and that is Dr. Aaron Mzwan.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Yeah. I mean, look at what the man is doing. The man is doing, he has done great work in the health ministry. He's championed the HIV/AIDS program, the cancer program. The man is currently doing sterling work at the Home Affairs, and he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He's learned. He has integrity. That is the man that should lead us.
Okay. Tukolo says Aaron Motsoaledi is the man who should be there in the union buildings. Tukolo in Centurion, thank you. It's 9:30. Donald, Unati, Tuki, I see you. I'll start with your calls after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Juliet, hi.
Hi, Clement. The Jewish Board of Deputies is disappointed with government's decision to refer Israel to the International Criminals Court for alleged war crimes committed against Gaza. President Cyril Ramaphosa confirmed during a state visit in Qatar yesterday that governments asked the ICC to investigate Israel's possible human rights violations. Former COPE member Colleen Makobele has accused the party's leader, Mosier Lekota, of abandoning the South African Rainbow Alliance due to leadership squabbles. She was axed from COPE earlier this week after she was unveiled as the new leader of SARA, a voting bloc of minority parties. And the Matthews Pausa boarding school in Mpumalanga is investigating a case of bullying after a grade 10 pupil suffered burn wounds on his chest and face from boiling water. The private school says preliminary investigations suggest two pupils accidentally collided into one another at the hospital, causing the water to splash onto both of them. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in Equestria, you can experience slow-moving traffic. This is on Solomon Mahlangu between Linwood Road and the N4. Heading towards Alexandra, there's also slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound, approaching Morafontein Road. If you're heading towards the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic on the M1 northbound between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange. Benoni traffic sluggish on Atlas Road, approaching North Rand Road, while if you're heading towards Fourways, you can expect slow-moving traffic approaching the intersection of Winnie Mandela Drive and Leslie due to faulty traffic lights. And there's also traffic lights not working in Sharon Lee at Madubonga Drive and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on Twitter at EWN Traffic.
In the spirit of togetherness, humanness, Ubuntu. It's the power of a collective that leads to progress. And just like a team, if we each play our part, we move forward to greater, to better. It takes a collective to win, a collective to build, but an individual to vote. Because your voice matters. This election, embrace the power of your one vote. Voter registration opens on Saturday 18 and Sunday 19 November 2023 from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. For more info, go to 702.co.za.
So this is a 30-second radio ad for Pineapple. Go to pineapple.co.za for 100% insurance, 0% other stuff. Why is it so short? Because we got a special package deal with the station. A mere 30 seconds. I can't even. I mean, just this legal line. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Old Mutual Insure, licensed FSP, and non-life insurer. T's and C's apply. That's half the ad gone. I'm probably going to get cut off before I can even tell you all about the one.
Lula is helping SMEs make cash flow with fast access to business funding and a chance to win 50,000 Rand every week in November. Congratulations to this week's winner.
Hello, my name is Dieter Salmon, the owner of Eastland Caravan World. We are a caravan retailer based in the Eastland. We have been making use of Lula for a number of years now to help us with big purchases and cash flow. To be the winner of 50,000 Rand was a pleasant surprise, and I will be definitely using that to go on a well-deserved holiday this year. Thank you, Lula.
Apply for funding today at lula.co.za.
Christmas isn't about the trees, or the presents, or even Santa's milk and cookies. It's not about tinsel, the decorations, or the Christmas lights. It's not the roast on the table, or the seconds of dessert. Not the carols, the candy, or the smell of freshly baked cookies. It's how all those things make us feel and the smile they put on our faces. Merry Christmas, South Africa, from all of us at SPAR.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock, it's the 702 open line. We're trying to gauge the political appetite for political leaders. There's this survey that shows that former President Thabo Mbeki is actually still ranking as the most admired political leader at 57%, followed by Cyril Ramaphosa, then Jacob Zuma at 29%, Cyril Ramaphosa at 45%. So who is it for you? I don't know what boxes a good leader needs to tick for you, but who ticks the boxes? Is it Cyril Ramaphosa? For a good statesman, a good political leader? Is it Julius Malema? Is it Musimamani, Herman Mashaba, John Steenhuisen? Gayton McKenzie. That's another person added to the list. Is it Aaron Motsoaledi? Someone added Aaron a little earlier. Unati, what are your thoughts? You're in Centurion.
Hi. I wanted to say that a good administrator that we have is actually the current president. But what I think I find even more interesting and very compelling is that it looks like as South Africans, we tend to appreciate more of our presidents when they are no longer in office. And if you look at, for instance, if you look at this survey and you look at how the country is progressing from an administrative point of view, from even like now, I just heard the whole South Africa going to the International Criminal Court around what is happening in Israel. Because some of these guys that you've mentioned, those Julius included, they talk. They are not administrators. They talk because they are real true politicians. Because one of the things that you also need to ask yourself a question is, when these people are in office, what is it that they do? Where do they even get their own money to be in politics in the first place? Because it looks like we don't necessarily get people who are technocrats to come in and run government. It looks like you can, as long as you have followers and say whatever that you want to say, you become a politician in South Africa. And people don't understand that when you talk, what you talk, and the type of investment that will bring or throw away out of the country is actually maybe embodied into that leader. So there's quite a lot in terms of what we maybe as maturing democracy, we don't actually understand why the state functions. And we can, if you come in and say something that is topical today, we believe that you're a leader. Tomorrow you say something, then you choose another guy that says something. And also the pain and where we come from as a country has got everything to do with the what you call this, the grandstanding that we politicians.
So talk with but no action. And some people are swayed by what politicians say and not so much what they do. Also, I just think it's not fair to say then the EFF or Julius would not be a great administrator. He hasn't been given a chance, right? Ramaphosa has been, so he's got the advantage of incumbency, so you can judge him against what he's done. Julius hasn't, so who knows? Maybe he'll get in there and surprise you. But yeah, I get what you're saying there, Unati. Politicians say a lot, and sometimes it's what sways people in their favor and not so much what they do. Tuki in Roslyn. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, Tuki. Go ahead.
Clement. Yeah, I appreciate some individuals who have goodwill and good intentions to get this country changed. But the problem is people who surround them. There are lots of sharks out there who determined to cause major harm. Now, with us black people, we have no clue in governance.
Who?
Correct? We as black people.
Let's not do that, Tuki. Maybe talk for yourself.
Yeah,
talk for yourself. Say I or me and my friends, because you know them. Don't include me there.
You can't be a president. You are a good radio man.
Hey, but I'm a black person. I get it. I'm a black person, so don't include me there.
So we're looking for black people who can run the government. Now, we don't have that experience. And we were dumped in the deep end to try and run this huge economy. Now, we think shouting slogans will enable us. No, it doesn't work that way.
Who's the best for you, Tuki?
For me, let's return it back to the white people.
Oh, my goodness.
I knew. You're not the first one. Wait.
I'm listening. Don't worry. I'm listening to you. I was just taking her back there.
These guys started this economy from donkey years ago. By 1994, when we took it from them, we succeeded to make a mess of it. Now, they still have potential to turn it around. And that's the time when we need to be with them and learn. Once we hear, then we can.
What do you think is special about white people that you think black people don't have?
I know what I know, and you know. They built this economy until 1994 when we took it. Everything that they built up, we have destroyed. Now,
so who's the leader for you, Tuki?
A chance.
Who's the leader for you? Who do you think would be best?
I say let's take it back to them and work with them. That's why the old man Mandela was saying let's reconcile.
But who is the president? Who would Tuki like to see as president next year in the white?
I wish I could say you, but
I'm not white. Remember, I don't have a brain. I'm not white. I don't have a brain to run a government. I have no clue to be an administrator. So, which white person do you think would be great?
What's that DA guy? What is
John Steenhuisen.
Yeah, Steenhuisen. Let him get his fellow white guys and the people.
Okay.
Let's all work together.
Okay. Ooh. Tuki. It's actually sad. It really is sad to hear a view like that. But hey, Tuki, appreciate your view. If it's your view that white people built this economy and they're the only ones capable of running things, do you, boo? Hlabirwa in Tembisa, what are your thoughts?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Tsara. Hi, Gimnat. Who do you think would be great there at the union buildings?
This thing of a white person, really, I don't even want to associate myself with.
Yeah, let's not even put too much energy on it. Yeah, let's move on.
You see, sometimes in our country, when we have to choose someone or when we have to vote someone or whatever, it is because we don't want this. Remember in 2007, when we voted Jacob Zuma, it was because we were not happy with Thabo Mbeki. But for now, I would say Cyril is still making some good, even though he is surrounded by very, very problematic people.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
So
that's my...
Okay, so it's the people around him more that are a problem.
Exactly. You see, if there's someone who talked about Elias Mutwale, Aaron Mutwale. Yeah, if we can have the people of his caliber working with Cyril Ramaphosa, this country can go somewhere.